Hi guys, Dr. Mel again. We're doing physics, vertical projectile movement, and we're going to look at two different objects moving in reference to each other in this question. So make sure that you do a type of question of each. Remember, hot air balloon, bouncing balls, anything that's being thrown up or down. In this case, we're going to have a look at a building where we've got stones being thrown. So, a stone A is being thrown vertically upwards with a speed of 10. So we can see it's going upwards, and you have to know by now that it will stop at the top and have a velocity or speed of 0. So it will slow down. I'm going to choose again my downward as my positive direction. And the edge of this building is 40 meters from the ground. So it's important that you know you are working from the ground upwards. They say we can ignore air friction, so there's nothing slowing it down other than gravity. And gravity is obviously downwards, so it's accelerating downwards. The questions they ask of me is the following. Define free fall. Now, we've done this in every question. You'll get a theory question actually asking you the theory of this portion. In this case, free fall, you know it will be only the force of gravity. In other cases, they'll ask you what the acceleration will be. It will be 9.8 meter per second square downward. That's the kind of theory questions that they ask. The second question, calculate the maximum height that stone A reaches above the ground. Now, please bear in mind that you had this building and it was at, let's just have a look, 40 meters. So you've got 40 meters already. They now asked me, if you have A going up there and you know it's going to stop, what will that height be? So let's see what we have. We've got the final velocity because it's going to stop at the top. We have the initial velocity because it was launched with 10 meter per second. And I know it's that. And I'm going to choose downwards as positive. So I'm going to allocate a minus there. But you know it's square, so it doesn't really matter. Plus 2a delta y. That is 9.8 again, delta y. Remember, you've got squares, so be careful with your calculations. I'm going to take the 100 to this side. I've got the 19.6 delta y this side. I'm going to divide with 19.6 on either side, which gives me a delta y of 5.102 meters. The maximum height is not defined by 5. Remember, the building was 40 and you've got another 5.102. So what is the maximum height? It is in actual fact 45.102 meters. So that's the answer because it's from the ground. In a second or the third question, they want me to calculate the magnitude and direction of the acceleration. Well, there's nothing to calculate because acceleration is always downwards and it always has the value of 9.8. So see that you get those 2 marks because it's theory that you have to know. Now, they are dropping another stone, B, from the edge of the roof. And it's not just dropping it, they take X seconds after they've thrown A in the air before they drop B. Stone A passes stone B. Now let's just quickly draw a diagram. I cannot do these questions without the diagram. So I've got B being dropped, so that's 0, and it's going down. I also have A, which we did on the previous slide. It went up 5.102 meters. It came down. It was launched with 10 meter per second, and it's now going down. Now they give me another piece of information. A passes B. So somewhere we've got A passing B with a height of 29.4 meters from the ground. Now, this was initially launched from 40 meters. So immediately you know you can get that distance if you deduct 29.4 from the 40 meters. They didn't ask me about the heights. They asked me, give the value for x, which is the time before they started dropping B. So let's see what we have. I'm firstly going to calculate information with B. I know I've got stone B. Let me just write what I have. I've got the delta Y as 40 minus 29.4. That gives me a height of 10.6 when it's next to stone A. So remember, that was the delta Y. I also have the velocity that it started with, and I think that's more than enough to calculate the time. So we've got delta Y equals VI delta T plus a half 9.8 delta T. Remember, that's your A. I can calculate and I can substitute 10.6. I know it was dropped, and I know this is 4.9 delta T. Oh, it's delta T square. Don't make the same mistake as I did. And you will now find delta T square as 2.16, which means the square root of these will be delta T, and you'll get a value of 1.47 seconds. So it took ball B from the top of the building to the point where it's next to ball A. It took it 1.47 seconds. Let's see what we have in regard to ball A. For stone A, it's not a ball, it's a stone A. I have the following. I know it has been dropped 10.6 because it will be exactly the same height from the top of the building. So delta Y is that. I have VI delta T plus a half a delta T square. Now I've got two ways of doing this. I can either use the 10 there with the 10.6, and you can then calculate your delta T. Another way of doing it, and I'm going to do that way, is to add to that 10.6 the 5.1, which it went up. I'll tell you now why I'm going to use that. I now get a value of 15.7 that it went from the top to where it is next to stone B. So I've got 15.7, I've got VI. Now I can substitute VI with 0 delta T plus a half 9.8 delta T square. It's 15.7 from the top to where it's next to ball A, and you now calculate delta T as 1.79 seconds. So you get that value, and I just want to check my calculations. I've got 5.7. No, I've got the wrong answer here. Sorry, guys. This is 3.2 seconds. So it took 3.2 seconds for ball stone A to reach that ground. So let's go to another slide. Let's say I've got the total time for stone A. It went up 1.02 seconds. It came down 1.79 seconds. It is a total time of 2.81 seconds. In terms of stone B, the total time for stone B is now what we calculated, 1.47 seconds. Now you can see stone B is there and stone A is next to it, and they are at that same height. It took stone A 2.81 seconds to get there. it took stone B 1.47 seconds to get there. The difference between that will give me my time X. So if I deduct 1.47 from 2.81, I'll get the answer as 1.34 seconds, which is the value of X. Remember that you have to work carefully. You see how confusing it can be. Work with your A, work with your B, and see that you've got your columns with all your information. The last question on this section is, they're giving me a graph and they're asking me a few questions. Now, it's still the same question, so it seems like they gave me a graph of that line there. Can you see that line going down there? This is the first line. And I also have a second graph, which is just this part here. Now, the question is the following. Which of the labels represent the time at which stone A has a positive velocity? Now, it's the time, so you'll immediately go to your x-axis. Where will stone A have a positive velocity? Now, you'll see at the top here, it will be exactly the time that it accelerates, because this will be the positive velocity. The second question, what is the maximum height? Now that's again on the y-axis. What is the maximum height that is reached by stone A? Here you can see it's going up there. That will be represented by D. So that would be D, and that answer would be A. Make sure that you've got the right question as they asked it labels. They didn't ask you other portions. In the same question, they want us to identify the time that it took stone B. Now you can see this clearly represents B because it was dropped X seconds after A. So let's see what time did stone B, what label would represent that time. And you can see it was dropped at label F. And finally, what label represents the height at which the stones passed each other? That's again on the y-axis, and you can see here they meet each other, and because they meet each other at that point there, the height would be C. C would be when they are next to each other. This was a different question with stones going up and down and going alongside each other. Still, you've got to be able to identify in projectile motion a lot of definitions, and it all boils down to knowing that it's only gravity. You have to be able to draw graphs or interpret graphs, get the quantities and calculate accurately. And you can see we can make mistakes if we work not with accurate time. Take your time, see that you focus and that you actually substitute with the correct values. I hope you enjoy projectile motion. Bye-bye.